In the summer of 2004, South Korea was jolted by one of the most gruesome crime stories the country had ever witnessed. Driven by hatred for the rich and women, Yoo Young-chul committed 20 murders before he was apprehended, and a self-proclaimed cannibal earned him a name of Yellow Raincoat Killer. Targeting women, wealthy men, prostitutes, almost everyone. He was not just a serial killer, but a monster that we read about in our folktales. The movie Chaser, later released, is based on his crime. Early life. Born on April 18, 1970, in Gochang, South Korea, his early years were marked by poverty, instability, and abuse. Growing up in a troubled household, bullied by his rich classmates in school, you had an elder brother and an elder sister. Yoo Young-chul faced hardships that would shape his future in profoundly disturbing ways. Raised in poverty and reportedly subjected to abuse by his father, who was a Vietnam War veteran, Yoo Young-chul's childhood was marred by trauma. His parents separated few years after his birth. He was unwanted even before his birth, as his mother desperately tried to abort him but couldn't go through it. His mother left him and his siblings in his grandmother's doorsteps, and later his father remarried a new wife. His father then took on the responsibility as Yoon's provider. His life in his new family was never pleasant. His stepmother and his own father never left a chance to make his life a living hell. His mental health started deteriorating since his early years. He even started having epileptic fits, which he would later use to his advantage. But a tragedy struck their family on 1985 as his alcoholic father died after getting hit by a car. Now, Yoo was the breadwinner of the family. He decided to work hard and escape the poverty, but after finishing his high school, he wanted to get into an art school, as he was good arts and had artistic talents, but he was rejected by the university. So his hatred towards rich increased exponentially. He somehow got into diploma school, but he never really enjoyed the subject. These early experiences likely played a pivotal role in shaping his distorted worldview and fueling his descent into criminality. How was he caught? Prostitution and escort is illegal on South Korea, and many of the escorts started going missing. The escort business owner couldn't complain to the police, as they could get arrested for running an illegal business. But within a span of few months, the owners noticed that about 11 female escorts were missing, and all were booked through the same number. They suspected that it was a case of human trafficking, so they went straight to the police to file missing complaints. After a few days, the escort company again got a call requesting an escort from the same number, and they informed the police about it. Police decided to set a trap for the perpetrator, and the perpetrator fell straight into it. It was Yoo Young-chul, and the phone belonged to one of the escort. He then confessed that he had killed 20 people. Police took him to the station, but then he pretended to have epileptic fit, so the police didn't handcuff him. He took the advantage of the situation and escaped from the police station. After 11 hours, he was caught again. Yoo Young-chul's criminal activities began to surface in his high school years in 1988, where his early criminal records were traced back. He was just 18 and was arrested for breaking into a house and was charged of theft. He was mostly arrested for minor theft, but later, he was also caught for selling child pornography in an attempt to earn easy money, but he was not good at it, as he was easily caught by the authorities. After a few months, his crime now escalated from petty theft to huge insurance fraud to child pornography and sexual assaults. In 1991, he was sent to juvenile center for theft charges. Despite his bad limelight, his then-girlfriend, an escort, agreed on getting married with him, and within a year, she gave birth to his only son. It seemed like now he was on a right path away from crime, but the thrill of breaking laws was still alive in him. Again, he was incarcerated for 2 years in jail. Around the year 2000s, his crime's brutality escalated, marking the beginning of a reign of terror that would grip South Korea in fear. Initially involved in petty crimes such as burglary and assault, he soon escalated to more serious offenses, culminating in a string of brutal murders that shocked the nation to its core. He was sentenced to 3 years in jail for sexually assaulting a 15-year-old girl. This caused a huge scar in his relationship with his wife, and his wife left him. Now his resentment for wealthy men and women was evident in his future actions. His bitterness for his wife was so intense that he really wanted to punish her and seek revenge for leaving him, and later he planned on killing them both in the most sadistic way, but he couldn't, as he felt morally responsible for both of them. So he dropped the idea. He then decided to kill everyone as a part of his revenge plan, except his own family members. Most of the serial killer have motive and an inspiration. Inside the prison, he wanted to punish the wealthy people and women, and his inspiration was another infamous serial killer, and a psychopath Jong Do-yang, who also targeted the rich people of Korea. During the period of 1999 to 2000, Jong had killed 9 people from wealthy family. And Yoo also chose his victim in a similar pattern. Yoo was Jong's first copycat killer. In 2003, Yoo Young-chul committed his first known murder, setting off a chilling series of killings that would haunt South Korea for over a year. His victims were predominantly wealthy, physically weak, and elderly individuals, whom he targeted for their perceived vulnerability and financial resources. Yoo Young-chul employed cunning and deception to gain access to their homes, often posing as a service provider or offering assistance before unleashing his deadly violence. The methods of murder employed by Yoo Young-chul were as varied as they were gruesome. From strangulation and stabbing to bludgeoning, he showed a chilling disregard for human life and a penchant for inflicting maximum pain and suffering on his victims. His crimes were characterized by a cold and calculated brutality that struck fear into the hearts of the South Korean populace. He always used his homemade hammer that he would strike people with. Similar to other serial killers, he started torturing and killing animals. He would lure many street dogs and kill them mercilessly with a huge blow with his hammer. On September 2003, he attacked his first known victim, who was Mr. Lee Deok-soo, a university professor. Yoo stabbed the professor on with neck, struck again on his head with his customized hammer, and he later bludgeoned his wife and staged it to look like a robbery gone wrong. He then proceeded to clean the entire place to avoid leaving any evidence. He trashed their locker, but he never took any jewels, money from the house that was peculiar to the policeman. His shoe prints were found in the crime scene, which was a crucial evidence that would later link him to other murders. He continued murdering many wealthy people and their families. He struck again after a week on October 9, 2003. Yoo broke into another wealthy family's house of Kang Eun-sun, 85 years old woman. He entered the house in the morning and then was interrupted by her daughter. He then bludgeoned her and asked her daughter to bow towards him as a ritual of sacrifice, but she refused, and he struck her head with his hammer and also killed her disabled grandson. We can clearly understand that he has to no remorse for anyone. He made the disabled son kneel down and struck him again and again till inside of his brains were scattered on the floor. The police again found his footprints in this case. Police started their search on the perpetrator. He had no regards for anyone's life. Yoo was very poor and always felt discouraged. And he saw that wealth people have everything without sacrificing anything. This feeling kept on transforming into hostility against the wealthy people. Within a span of 8 months, Yoo claimed at least 10 lives of elderly, wealthy victims. As the killing spree was on a rise, the police were on a hunt for the perpetrator. He moved to another city and attacked another family of Yoo Jun, who was a 60 years old woman. She lived alone. He forced her into the bathroom. He then sexually assaulted her and struck her with his hammer. She was later discovered by her son, and she was breathing, but survived for long. The case enraged everyone, and people started noticing the pattern of murder and how close these places with each other, so they suspected that it could be the serial killer. But police was not sure if they had a serial killer on their hand, so they decided to reject the idea that the murders were linked with each other. Then after only few more weeks, Yoo's hunger for crime again overtook him, and he again attacked another wealthy family. On November 1st, 2003, he broke into a house in province of Hwayodong. He first attacked the housekeeper and instructed her to lead him to the master bedroom. The house owner, 87 years old Kim Jang-suk, and an infant, the homeowner's son. As Yoo bludgeoned the homeowner with his hammer, the housekeeper grabbed the baby and tried to escape, but Yoo snatched the baby from her hand, and he took the baby to another room and wrapped him in a blanket. He then attacked the housekeeper. He tried to get rid of the evidence like his usual attempt, but this time he left his DNA from his blood as his middle finger was bleeding, which he had hurt while opening the house's safe. Now we might think that he feels some pity for the baby, but to our surprise, to get rid of his evidence, he sets the whole house on fire with the baby inside it. This was the proof that he wasn't just a killer, but a merciless serial killer. But by some miracle, the baby's cries were heard by the neighbors, and it was rescued. The police went through the security footage of the house, and they could finally see the killer in it. But he had covered his blood-stained clothes with another cloth that he had taken from the Kim Jang-suk's house, and in the video we can see his back only. Now Yoo changed his usual pattern of attack, and police also believes that if he had continued his usual pattern, then they might have caught him, but now he changed his targets. He now started living a double life. He would wear police's uniform and used to pose as a police officer and arrest the escorts. He later grew fond of one escort and proposed her, but she turned him down after knowing his shady past, history of sexual assault, and his previous family life. Now he grew bitterer towards escorts. He hated every escort, and now he was seeking revenge. At the beginning of 2003, Yoo lured an escort and killed her. He booked her from the escort company, made her come to his apartment. Her name was Kwon Jin Hee, 23 years old. She was also bludgeoned by his customized hammer. To hide his crimes, he would cut up the bodies and stuff them in plastic bags and dump them on a deserted site near Sogang University and mark the places with a bottle cap. He did this to avoid using the same spot to discard his next victims. He used to rape his victims and then cut their bodies into multiple pieces with knives, axes, and scissors. In his next act, he again pretends to be a police officer and arrests an escort and takes her to his apartment where he rapes her, and he mutilates her head from her body and drains her blood. He gave a statement stating, "Women shouldn't be sluts, and the rich should know what they have done." He claimed that his motive was to punish dirty women. He always thought that he was very smart. He even used to eat his victims' internal organs like liver, brain to cleanse his spirit, and to cope up with his epilepsy, and he did that with the bodies of 4 victims that were escorts. Again, he attacked a guy who was a street vendor. He was neither a rich man nor an escort, but he sold you a fake Viagra pill. You wore the police uniform and arrested the vendor. As the body count continued to rise, authorities launched a massive manhunt to apprehend Yoo Young-chul and put an end to his reign of terror. After getting arrested, he would then lead the police to the dead bodies of the victims. Despite their efforts, he managed to evade capture for several months, leaving a trail of death and devastation in his wake. The sheer audacity and brutality of his crimes only served to heighten the sense of fear and paranoia gripping the nation. In July 2004, Yoo Young-chul's reign of terror finally came to an end when he was apprehended by the police. His capture brought a sense of relief to a traumatized nation, but it also raised troubling questions about the root causes of his crimes and the adequacy of mental health support systems in South Korea. Yoo Young-chul's troubled upbringing and history of psychological issues underscored the importance of addressing mental health concerns and providing support to those in need. During his trial, Yoo Young-chul confessed to a total of 21 murders, although the true number of his victims may never be known. His case captivated the public's attention and sparked widespread debate about issues such as crime prevention, punishment, and rehabilitation. In 2005, he was convicted and sentenced to death, marking the end of a chapter in South Korea's history that will forever be remembered for its horror and tragedy. Yoo Young-chul is awaiting death at South Detention Center. Yoo Young-chul's case serves as a chilling reminder of the capacity for evil within society and the importance of vigilance in combating crime. His crimes left an indelible mark on South Korea, leaving behind a legacy of fear, trauma, and unanswered questions. While his capture and conviction brought a sense of closure to many, the scars left by his actions continue to linger, serving as a sobering reminder of the fragility of human life and the darkness that lurks within us all.